It looks like Christmas cookie making season to me. Christmas cookies. Who doesn't love them? The favorite Christmas cookie in our family is a Linzer cookie. I'm not quite sure how that came to be the favorite because we do so many. I think it's because it just looks like Christmas. Linzer cookies are traditionally from Austria, and they're usually made with an crushed almond meal in the cookie, and oftentimes it's a raspberry or a currant jam in the center. But since my favorite flavors in the kitchen usually have a Mediterranean twist to them, I will be using orange blossom, which is one of my favorite flavors when I'm using grated orange peel, because while this is citrusy, this is floral, and together they're beautiful. In the cookie, instead of using almond, I'm going to be using roasted chestnuts. We'll grind them till they're in a fine powder. We're just going to use a couple of tablespoons just to give it that flavor. Then, in our filling, our jam, I'm going to be using cranberries. I will cook these down with sugar, and we'll use all the traditional flavors of Christmas. Grated cloves, cinnamon. I love these flavors. Sometimes I really just like to put them in a little pot of water and set them on the stove while I'm baking and let them simmer. By using butter and cream cheese, we get a very dense cookie dough, so it makes it easy to roll out so it doesn't crumble and fall apart when we go to press it. Come join me in the kitchen and let's make Christmas cookies. All right, let's make our jam filling. Put our cranberries in there. Freshly squeezed orange juice. A little bit of orange zest. We'll save some of it for the cookies. Orange blossom. Oh, about a tablespoon. And of course sugar. Take on a thick syrupy kind of texture. To that, let's add our cloves, cinnamon, and salt. We'll let this cook down until it turns into a syrup. In the food processor, we will bring to a flour or a powder our chestnut, 3/4 cup of sugar, about a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of orange rinds. I'm mixing this in the food processor because it brings the dough together very quickly. It's not a lot of work when you do it this way. Give the butter a turn, and now we're going to add the cream cheese. Give that a spin, and we'll add the flour. About 3½ cups of flour. Very quickly we will see this go from a lump, powdery, sticky mess to all of a sudden it just comes together in one solid ball. Here you have it. That to me is the perfect way to make cookie dough. It just comes together and it's now ready to roll out. Look at this, it's just a perfect consistency. You don't want it very thick because remember we're going to have 2 cookies put together, so let's make them thin enough that we can enjoy eating 2 cookies together. You can see all the little flecks of chestnuts in there and the tiny little flecks of orange rinds. Oh, the flavors are delightful. We'll begin pressing out the shapes. I like to cook the pop-outs separately and munch on those. We have our cookies pressed and they're getting ready to go be popped into the oven. So we'll bake these at about 325. I want it on a little bit lower oven because I don't want the edges of this to burn. And you can see that our cranberries are coming along beautifully. We are going to let those simmer until they're very thick. We'll let them cool and then I'm going to puree them. Cranberry jam is now ready to spread. Top layer goes on. Finish them up with a dusting of powdered sugar. Well, our favorite Christmas cookies are finished. These are beautiful and they're so delicious. I'm not waiting for Santa for mine.